Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of the end times. Just this past week, Pope Francis created quite a stir when he said that atheists can go to heaven. And just yesterday, a Vatican spokesman said the Pope was mistaken. Atheists go to hell. So now we have a tremendous conflict and contradiction. Who is correct? On this program, your co-prophet is going to side with Pope Francis. Now in the past, I have disagreed with our current Pope. For example, when Pope Francis washed the feet of women during Holy Week, I said that was a grave error. Jesus never washed the feet of women. To me, this showed that Pope Francis has a misunderstanding of the effects of original sin. I do think Pope Francis would agree with me that if atheists can go to heaven, so can Protestants and Buddhists and Muslims, and in fact everyone can be redeemed by the shed blood of Jesus Christ. In fact, I said a few years ago on one of my programs that atheists can even be raptured. And I also believe Pope Francis would agree with me that there is a corollary to all of this, and that is that Catholics can go to hell. For example, here in New York State, we have a governor, Andrew Cuomo, who professes to be a practicing Catholic. And yet he has proposed legislation that will make New York State the abortion capital of America. I would not want to be in his shoes on Judgment Day. So how do atheists get to heaven? Pope Francis says it is on the basis of good works. And that is totally scriptural. The most complete and perfect description of judgment is given by Jesus Christ himself in Matthew 25:31 through 46. And it is very clear from Jesus' own words that we will be judged solely on the basis of our good works. If you don't believe me, read Matthew 25:31 through 46. But we still have a discrepancy. Certainly, there are no atheists in heaven. It is impossible to look Jesus in the face and proclaim there is no God. So how do we get from point A to point B? How can someone die an atheist and be a believer in heaven? What occurs between death and heaven or hell that could change a person's mind? And of course the answer is judgment occurs then. But is it possible for someone to learn at judgment? Can a person change? Can one learn about God after death? And the answer again is yes, he can. Once again, referring to Matthew 25 verses 31 through 46, both the sheep and the goats are surprised at their judgment. The sheep ask Jesus, "When did we see you naked and clothe you? When were you hungry and we fed you? When did we visit you when you were sick or in prison?" And Jesus will say to them, "Whenever you did it to one of the least of my brothers." In other words, those who are judged learn about Jesus at judgment time, and the same will happen to atheists. Jesus will also say to them, the good ones, those who have performed good works in this life, "Come, ye blessed of my Father, and enter into the kingdom prepared for you since the foundation." In other words, Pope Francis is correct, and that Vatican spokesman is in error. But some of my subscribers have asked me, then what is the point of being a Catholic? And the answer is the sacramental life of the Church. Only the Catholic Church, to my knowledge, teaches that the Holy Eucharist is the true body and blood of Jesus Christ. And Jesus said, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. Consequently, the one sure road to heaven is participating in the sacramental life of the Catholic Church. And as always, I do offer a free copy of my book, Revelation Unraveled. To obtain your copy, you can write to the address you see on your screen. Or you can go to my channel. Now, I haven't yet been able to attach the files to my Third Eagle Books channel, but you can click on my William Tapley channel, and the book can be found there. Or you can listen to me reading the book on my William Tapley channel if you happen to be impaired as far as hearing goes, and you can read my book or hear about it right now.